A lot of people trust Sam Altman. Governments listen to him. Journalists quote him earnestly. Investors hand him billions of dollars and nod along. Somehow, he's become the adult in the room for artificial intelligence. The guy everyone sort of gestures towards and says, "Oh, relax, he's got it. He knows what he's doing." But when you stop and ask why people trust him, the answers get a bit blurry. Mostly, people seem to trust him because he sounds reasonable. Is he? Is calm competence enough when someone is effectively steering the future? Is it just because he's not Elon Musk? The old school tech guy. Part of why Sam Altman inspires so much trust is that he looks and sounds like a throwback. He's not a flamethrower guy. He doesn't scream into podcasts or post random shit at 3 a.m. He wears plain clothes, sensible sneakers, often Allbirds, shout outs to New Zealand. And he has the soft, earnest cadence of someone who genuinely believes technology is supposed to make life easier. This is all very old school Silicon Valley. From before tech founders were auditioning for WWE villain arcs, there was a particular aesthetic. Smart, slightly awkward guys who talked about progress, efficiency, and freeing humans from boring work. And Sam Altman fits that mold perfectly. He grew up in suburban Missouri and came out as gay at 16 in the early 2000s in Missouri. That requires a certain amount of quiet bravery. According to The New Yorker, even as a teenager, he stood out less for arrogance than for an almost unnerving composure. Curious, articulate, unusually serious about ideas. So he doesn't really present as someone who bulldozed his way into power. He reads more like someone who learned early how to navigate systems, like how to be careful and strategic and patient inside institutions that weren't really built with him in mind. He came up through startup accelerator and venture capital firm Y Combinator, where he built a reputation as the calm, thoughtful grown-up whispering advice to the next generation of founders, all while helping shape companies that would go on to become household names, including Airbnb, Stripe, Reddit, and Dropbox. Even now, his writing is full of gentle optimism. In essays like The Gentle Singularity and 3 Observations, he talks about AI the way early tech leaders talked about electricity or the internet, not as a threat, but as infrastructure humanity will eventually take for granted. Also, of course he has a blog. He just seems like a guy who would have a blog. So compared to Elon Musk, Sam Altman feels real normal and measured and honestly almost boring. And boring right now reads as trustworthy. Everyone's fucking crazy. The world according to Sam. But once you strip away the calm voice and the very sensible sneakers, Sam Altman has a surprisingly firm worldview about the future. At its core, Altman believes artificial intelligence isn't just coming, it's inevitable. It's fast and governed by rules we can already see. In his 2025 essay titled 3 Observations, he frames AI progress as almost mechanical. Intelligence scales with resources, costs fall every year, and the social impact accelerates faster than anyone's ready for. Translation, pour enough compute and capital, and the models just keep improving. No magic, no breaks, and no ceiling. From that perspective, his confidence makes sense. Altman has said he'd be very surprised if AI can't outperform humans in fundamental ways by 2030, and that OpenAI already has systems smarter than he is. But he doesn't frame this as doom. Sam insists the transition won't feel like a sci-fi rapture. Life will still look normal, he argues, just slowly reshaped as AI agents take on more work, more thinking, and more decision-making. So this is the key thing to understand about Sam Altman. He doesn't sell apocalypse. He sells managed inevitability. The future is coming either way. His goal is to be the person steering. What makes Sam Altman effective isn't just that people trust him, it's how that trust is produced. He has a habit of doing something very disarming. He openly acknowledges the risks of his own technology before anyone else forces him to. He warns that AI will disrupt jobs. He talks about misuse, pointing out accurately that large language models hallucinate. And by hallucinate, it means they're trained to never say, "I don't know," so they just start coming up with shit. That kind of self-critique reads as honesty, and honesty reads as competence. Honesty is also very rare in tech these days. But it does something else. It frames Altman as the person who understands the danger best, which subtly implies he should remain in charge of managing it. And this is a reoccurring pattern. Sam Altman really promises certainty. Instead, he emphasizes uncertainty handled responsibly. He talks about trade-offs. He uses phrases like, "We'll need to figure this out together." It's the language of caution without the loss of control. And crucially, there is an asymmetry at work. Sam knows what OpenAI's most advanced models can do. He knows what hasn't been released. He knows where the bottlenecks are and where they aren't. The public doesn't. So trust fills the gap left by missing information. By the time critics raise alarms, he's usually already raised them himself, calmly, politely, and in his own terms, maybe wearing some really crazy sunglasses. All of this makes him sound less like a salesman of the future and more like its designated custodian. Oops, we scaled again. We scaled again. At a certain point, trust stops being a feeling and starts becoming leverage. By late last year, Sam Altman wasn't just predicting the future of AI, he was helping shape the political conditions that would allow it to arrive faster with fewer obstacles. On OpenAI's 10th anniversary, President Donald Trump signed a sweeping executive order aimed at dismantling state-level AI regulations, something OpenAI had been lobbying for all year. The justification was very familiar. Regulation would slow innovation, fracture the US response, and hand an advantage to China. For OpenAI and for Sam Altman, it was a huge win. And this is where we see the scale of his influence. He's no longer just running a powerful company, he's operating at the level of national infrastructure. OpenAI is building massive data center complexes across the US as part of the Trump-approved Stargate project, an effort so large that Altman has admitted even these facilities won't be enough to meet demand. And the future we're debating in public, he's already several versions past it. Calmly and quietly, and with the full weight of government now helping to clear the path ahead. Who he is up close. It's really tempting to talk about Sam Altman only in terms of power, models, regulation, and infrastructure. But part of why he's so difficult to read is that he also presents himself as fairly normal, like comparatively normal to the other AI freaks. He doesn't necessarily cultivate the image of a billionaire genius detached from ordinary life. He talks about relationships, he talks about anxiety. In early 2024, he married his partner Oliver in what was widely described as a quiet, low-key ceremony, noticeably understated for someone at the center of the AI world. Think about Jeff Bezos' tacky-ass wedding. Very different. And by this point, it's pretty easy to land on a very modern conclusion about Sam Altman. Well, at least it's him. But that's also a very low bar. Because the real question isn't whether Sam Altman is better than the loudest billionaire in the room, or he's better than Elon Musk, anyone is. It's whether we're comfortable with any single individual quietly accumulating this much influence over the future, cultural, economic, and now political. And he doesn't deny how much power OpenAI holds. He's also been remarkably effective at translating belief into policy. None of this makes Sam Altman a cartoon villain, and if anything, that is the point. He looks like the kind of tech leader we used to believe in. But trust isn't a governance model, and reassurance, no matter how sincere, isn't the same thing as consent. So he may not be evil, and he may even be right about where all of this is heading. The uncomfortable part is that increasingly, we're letting him decide the terms. Not because we voted for them, but because he feels like the safest option available when everyone else is insane. If you like this video, make sure you check out my rundown of him and Elon's fallout with OpenAI and XAI. It's fascinating and very immature. Bye!